Reds, Neil Atkinson, Paul Cope. You excited about Christmas?
I am, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not usually.
What's different?
I'm not stressed out my mind and working 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
That helps.
Honestly,
little Christmas tip for everyone out there.
Yeah, no, honestly, there's a big thing I think about any sort of extended holiday when you go on your 2-week holiday in the middle of the year, even if you've just got a week away, is that the 4, 5, 6 days leading up to it can at times be absolutely horrendous.
Oh, it was in the legal industry. It's even worse though, because you have spells in the year where people want to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And pre-Christmas is a typical. Let's get this done before Christmas.
End of the year.
Yeah.
I want the sort by year end.
So well, that usually means like the 21st of December, because like this is. I keep looking at this week thinking this is for lawyers. Any lawyers out there and accountants and stuff like God, it's horrendous. Because people go, well, by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then people start going, well, no one's really doing anything after Christmas.
No, those
There's
days.
No time.
Yeah, 27th.
So, okay, so what do you mean, the 21st of December? Oh, great. Oh, well, that makes my life a misery for the next few weeks, which is what used to happen.
So you're able
but
to
not
relax.
Anymore.
Yeah, you're able to relax.
Yeah, I've been listening to Christmas songs since the end of November.
Really?
Yeah, just to go the opposite end. I used to hate it. I used to be one of those people going, Christmas songs, blah, blah, I hate all this.
Which was your favourite?
I'm a big Mariah Carey fan.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
My favourite is Shakin Stevens.
Oh, he's number 2, actually.
Yeah.
Literally on my playlist.
Yeah. We did a quiz. We did a quiz for John's brass band. You know, John does the brass band, and John was on our team in the quiz, and it was me, it was Brockle, and it was John, and it was Laura.
Yeah.
And one of the things, as a Christmas quiz, was Christmas songs. So they play the first couple of minutes of a Christmas song, a couple of seconds of a Christmas song, and you've got to get it. And John, one of them is Shakin Stevens, and John says, Shaky. And Sam's the writer, and Sam writes down, and she writes down Shaky Stevens, blah, blah. And John says, no, Shaky's his nickname. As though his given Christian name is indeed Shakin. People are knocking down to
Christian.
People are knocking down to Mrs. Stevens' house.
I'd love to have a quick snap survey right now about how many people are watching this going, what are they talking about?
Well,
a guy called Shakin Stevens who goes by the name Shaky.
Yeah, Shaky. So
look him up. If you haven't seen him, look him up. He's fantastic.
And it could be the best Christmas song wherever you're on the globe. It could genuinely be the best one. And I actually read something this week. I think it was Pop Justice Peter Robinson put on the internet that Shaky sat on that song for a year.
Did he?
So he'd had it finished for 84, but Band Aid was coming out. Do they know it's Christmas? So he knew he wouldn't get the number 1.
Yeah.
So he put it in his back pocket, literally made the record company for 12 months not release this song, this absolute banger. They're saying, Shaky, we've got our 84 figures to worry about here.
Yeah.
We know it might be number 2, but it's going to shift some units. And he's going, no, I want the Christmas number 1 for this.
Only goes up in my estimations.
Yeah.
Shaky. What a guy.
Yeah, that's what he did. But it is a belter, as is Mariah. Should we talk about the Reds?
We should.
I love Christmas footy. That's the other reason why I like Christmas.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a... So if any partners or people who contribute to the Anfield Wrap are watching this now, if you could just sort of stop watching, that'd be great. There's a thing that happens, which is 4 or 5 people over the next few days sort of pull me to one side and say, any shows, lads, over Christmas? I'm desperate to get out the house. That's the next thing that happens as well. Lads, any spaces on your shows? Anything? Have you got anything for me? Do you
have like a template email that you send to those people saying, like, we desperately need your help, so that they can show to the family?
I come short of numbers.
Yeah, he needs me. Can't have anyone else.
Yeah, so
Brilliant.
I love the football. Dejan Lovren's given an interview where he said he's hopeful Liverpool will go the season unbeaten, and everyone's gone bananas because he's jinxed everything. I don't know what they expect him to say if he's asked a question, do you think we can go the season unbeaten? And he says, I hope we can, and Arsenal have done it, so it can be done. And now he's jinxed everything.
This is funny, isn't it? Like, I think we all fall into this trap sometimes. You see quotes by footballers, and I think there's an assumption that a footballer woke up one day and thought, I know what I want to say today. And they start phoning around journalists and saying, anyone want to take this story?
Yeah.
Whereas it's the complete opposite of that. It's someone says to them, and Klopp's brilliant at dealing with this, isn't he, in press conferences? Someone will ask him a question, and you can see his brain immediately goes to the headlines the next day.
Yeah.
And he goes, nah, not giving you that headline.
Yeah, not for you.
Here's something else I'll say. And then his brain will go, that's a headline as well. And he goes, oh yeah, that's one, isn't it? And they all laugh. But this is the problem, like, he's been asked the question, he's going to answer it. And I'm not sure, this is the other side of it all with the Dejan Lovren thing, I'm not sure he's that powerful. I think, like, there's Liverpool fans out there, you might be one of them, who thinks whatever Dejan Lovren says affects the universe.
The opposite will happen.
I'm not sure that's true. Like, and now I'm open to it. I am open to the possibility, but I'm not sure it's true. So I quite like it.
Well, but also it is what's he meant to say the opposite. I mean, you can do the whole we're taking it one game at a time thing, but I think saying hopefully we go the season unbeaten, Arsenal did it before, why not, is perfectly acceptable. There's something else as well, which then everyone says this. And we all know now it's going to be Degsy's mistake that leads to a goal.
Yeah.
Now, my thing about this is, if you apportion where likely mistakes that lead to goals are going to come from, centre-half is quite high on the list.
Yes.
But if you accept that football is mostly a game of managing mistakes, mistakes made by central defenders are probably the second most costly, the most costly being a mistake made by a goalkeeper. So, and Degsy is likely to be the poorer of the two centre-halves, as the other one is Virgil van Dijk.
Yes.
So he's basically number 2 on the likely mistakes that leads to goals list anyway. Yeah. At the best of times, Degsy is number 2 on that list.
Yeah, agreed.
So we've just got to sort of rock and roll with that if therefore, what we're going to say, therefore, defenders can never say anything. Because if they ever say anything remotely positive, we can say, well, it's all going to lead to it this now.
Yeah, well, this is the problem with it all, isn't it? Like, and this is where the negative mindset about footy or anything else, for that matter, you're always going to be proved right sooner or later.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Yeah.
Dejan Lovren will make a mistake. Here's a prediction for you. Try and get this bet on at the bookies. Dejan Lovren will make a mistake that leads to a goal at some point.
Yep.
He will.
Yep.
So will Virgil van Dijk and so will Alisson. These things happen. That's footy.
Alisson just did one last game.
Exactly. It's my big thing, and I was made up again watching with the Alisson thing and Van Dijk. It's my favourite thing about buying really expensive players in those positions, because I used to say this before we got Alisson and Virgil. I think subliminally what it does to the crowd is makes us go, oh well, he's the best you can get.
Yeah.
So whereas before you're like, these mistakes are rubbish, we need better players. Once you've got what everyone sort of accepts are basically the best ones, and they make mistakes, you have to just suck it up.
Yep.
Unfortunately for Dejan, he's not in that category in most people's heads, so he still gets you've made a mistake, blah, blah, blah.
He does indeed, and he will continue to get it. When Adams also said it's good to have competition, has it made everyone better? I'm intrigued by this one, really. I think in general, it's good to have competition, but I think it's also good to bring that competition to the boil, bring the players to the boil. And I think we're looking at a Christmas period now where the manager made 2 central midfield changes between the Napoli game and the Manchester United game. I expect him to keep doing that through this period, because what it means for him is he's constantly got fresh legs in the middle of the park. And if there's an area where he needs fresh legs, it's the middle of the park. Yeah,
well, he said that himself a couple of weeks ago in a press conference, that when people are like, who doesn't get in and who's your first choice? And he said, I need them all. Yeah. That's it. I need them all. And this is why. And this is my favourite thing about the whole Lovren saying this and people banging on about City, and I've been saying for a while now, we're really good. And when people are looking at City's team going, see all the changes they've made and how good they are, you're like, yeah. See all the changes we can make and how good we still are. And the midfield is we all know this, the midfield is so key for us. And being able to do that with the players we've got now is just phenomenal.
I think there's a tactical thing in this as well. City tend to shift the attackers, and I think that there's an onus on City's attackers to get wide, to come back in. I think our onus is how hard our midfield's got to work. I think we know that whenever he can, the front three will get on the pitch. The front three themselves want to get on the pitch. I think that there's a thing here but they need 3 lads behind them to do loads of running for them. And so those 3 lads have got to be as fresh as possible.
I think that's exactly right. And that sort of ties in. We had loads of discussions, didn't we, pre the season starting, of we need one more up front. And I think this possibly explains it a little bit, that Klopp's saying, well, I can look after them. They don't need to do as much running as long as I've got 6 that I can rotate between in the middle who can do all the running.
I think it's absolutely right. And on that, it's an interesting question. It's on our little list here. I will ask it of you, but I think it's a difficult one. Watching the midfielders versus Wolves. I think he'll go some combination of Henderson, Keita and one more, and I'm not quite sure who the one more is. Is it Fabinho? Is it Milner? Is it Wijnaldum? I think it'll be Henderson, Keita plus one more. I think Fabinho will probably get Newcastle at home, and then he'll make a decision on Arsenal at home based on levels.
I think. What's the run of games now?
So it goes Wolves, then it goes Newcastle, then it goes Arsenal. The smallest gap for rest is Newcastle to Arsenal. Yeah. So Newcastle's the 26th and Arsenal's the 29th. Wolves is the 21st, so 21st, 26th, 29th, and then the 3rd against City. So I think he'll go. I think he'll have. It wouldn't surprise me if Henderson plays the 2 away games, Fabinho plays the 2 home games, and Keita plays 3 of the 4, Milner plays 3 of the 4, and Wijnaldum plays 3 of the 4.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because I was going to say, I think he probably looks at City and Arsenal and works backwards. Yeah. And how do I get the lads I want for those games in an ideal world, if they don't pick up injuries, in peak condition? And I think, because we have this conversation a lot, I'm a big Jordan Henderson fan, but that Fabinho performance against United was big, I think. But saying that, it was still against a team that wasn't great and didn't put him under a lot of pressure. So it'd be interesting to see where the Klopp looks. I think it's always instructive to see who he picks in certain games. So Jordan Henderson gets the nod in big games a lot, and that really annoys a lot of people, but it's because you can trust him. He's got the mobility, he knows how this all works. It's going to be really interesting of all of them to see which games Fabinho plays in, because we'll see then, like if he plays away at City, we know in Klopp's mind, he's there now, he's ready. He can play in these massive games where he'll be under pressure.
I think he'll get Arsenal, and the reason why I think he'll get Arsenal is because of the manager loves a redemption story. So Fabinho himself will have known he wasn't very good against Arsenal, it didn't go so well for him.
Yeah.
You think about Klopp a lot, he's done this a lot in the past. Didn't go well for you last time, that's fine, we'll work on it, we'll fix it. You can trust me, I'm going to give you all the information, the help you need, I'm going to trust you, and you're going to produce. And that's why I think he'll give him Arsenal. I think he'll give him Arsenal to go, see, we fixed that. You don't need to worry about that, that's gone.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of how the manager works. So I think he'll get Arsenal for that reason.
Well, that's interesting then, because I think, and I agree with that, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the same three played against Wolves as played the last match, because they've had time.
Yeah.
And then he can still play, he can do the same again for Arsenal, and he can change it completely for Newcastle.
Yeah, and maybe even throw Lallana in. Maybe even against Newcastle, go Henderson, Milner, Lallana.
Newcastle home in that run, you look at and think, we should be winning that game no matter who's on the pitch, out of this selection of players now. It doesn't overly weaken us no matter who you put in. And then you have still got a nice gap there between Arsenal and City anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting. It shows everything the manager can do. Listen, we've got a couple of live shows coming up on the day of the Arsenal game. We go to On Air in the Baltic. Tickets are available through C-Tickets for the Anfield wrap before Arsenal. We go on at some sort of point. I think it's about 1 o'clock. We go on at doors at 12. Come at 12, have a pint. That's why they want you there, to be honest. And it's nice to talk to people beforehand. So come and see us. We can have a lovely big day out before the Arsenal game. We're also doing something the night before Brighton in Brighton, as ever. The Brighton Cop, fabulous crew. Really excited about that one as well. That one will be the absolute business. Releases today, what we've got coming up for you. We've got our preview video. Paul's going to be shooting that in a second. We've got our Friday show. We've got an AFQ. We did a quiz last night that'll be coming out on Christmas Eve for Tour Players subscribers. The weekend will be out at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. The point of all this is to emphasise the best place to get everything you need, not just about Liverpool, but about the Premier League through this Christmas period, is the Anfield wrap. We don't have the live games yet. I'm sorry about that, but we're going to bid in the next round. We're going to see what comes out of it for us. So we haven't got the live games, but we've got everything else that you possibly need. TheAnfieldWrap.com/subscribe. £5 a month. Honestly, it's the best £5 you can spend this Christmas.